Hello and welcome to Unews. I'm Carolina Sarassa. Thank you for being with us today. And we began this hour in Washington, where we have new details on the whistleblower scandal. President Trump personally ordering the suspension of millions of dollars in military aid to Ukraine just days before he encouraged their president to investigate his political rival Joe Biden. This revelation is creating even more controversy and new calls to open impeachment proceedings in the House. In fact, CNN reports House Speaker Nancy Pelosi plans to put a resolution on the House floor tomorrow to address the scandal. Lorraine Cáceres is in Washington, D.C. with the very latest. Lorraine. Thank you, Lorraine, for that report. And all this is going on as President Trump is in New York City speaking at the UN. In that speech this morning, the president hit on several topics, including immigration, Venezuela, Cuba, and Iran. Blanca Rosa Vilches has been following the events all day and has more. Blanca. Thank you, Blanca Rosa, for that report. In another major topic at the UN, climate change. At the center of attention, a teenager from Sweden who became an activist and who sent a powerful message to the world, making a passionate plea. Andrea Hernández has more.
Overall, many activists say the UN Climate Action Summit was a disappointment because the largest greenhouse gas emitters in the world, China, the United States, and India, offered either nothing or very little about their commitments to curb emissions. Many say they wanted less talk and much more action. Caro, now back to you.
Thank you, Andrea, for that report. And during a climate change protest on Monday in California, a group of activists blocked traffic, effectively shutting down a major Hollywood intersection. The terror plot was uncovered involving a U.S. Army soldier who was arrested over the weekend for allegedly discussing plans to attack a major American news network. And coming up next, we have new details on an And welcome back to Unews. An earthquake off the shore of Puerto Rico shook the island late Monday night. The 6.0 quake hit about 11:23 p.m. Its epicenter. And now to an update on the death of a man who passed away while proposing to his girlfriend on an African vacation. Back in the U.S., the man's friends have started raising money to help the family bring his body back home. Rafael Rodriguez has more on this story. Authorities in Pennsylvania have arrested a man after 3 people died from overdosing. Officials say the tragedy happened after the people were given a white powder substance they believed was cocaine. Paula Biden has the latest on this case. The process for migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. border is about to get more difficult. As Juan Carlos Gonzalez explains, the Trump administration's new efforts are just the latest in a long line of measures aimed at cutting off the migrant pipeline. Up next, explosions and fire consume a Massachusetts. And welcome back to Unews. In Massachusetts, up to 60 people were evacuated after explosions and a fire consumed an apartment building. Police later found a man's body and 2 improvised explosive devices along with a propane tank in that man's apartment. Jenny Padura has a story. A Florida man is facing aggravated manslaughter charges for letting a disabled man die in the back of a hot van. A terrifying attack caught on camera. A realtor in California saying she was assaulted during an open house. Even though she does not want to be identified, she's speaking up, hoping to find the man who did it and prevent another attack. Eileen Cardet has the story, but first, a warning. Some people might find the images very disturbing. Coming up, the fuel crisis in Cuba. Welcome back to Unews. Venezuelan pro-government lawmakers will return today to the opposition-controlled Congress after a 2-year absence. Maduro's boy genius made history when he started attending a Mexico City college, but 1 year later, the boy has encountered some obstacle, so he and his family decided to go to court, and the judge's ruling is making history as well. Tiny Noriega has more. A couple who lives in Mexico picked an unusual place to get married, the U.S.-Mexico border wall in Tijuana. For many, the border fence represents the separation of families, but as Ricardo Arambari explains, for these newlyweds, it means union and moving forward. And up next, a medical recall. The weekend, a woman in Connecticut died from triple E virus, becoming the first known victim of the virus in the state in years. It is a dangerous virus. The CDC says approximately 5 to 10 cases of triple E are reported each year. It causes flu-like symptoms and can lead to brain infections that result in death. And with us to learn more about this is Dr. Next. Oprah Winfrey is speaking out about a recent health scare. She says she's suffering from, quote, very serious case of pneumonia. It even forced her to cancel all her obligations. Azul Alvarez has all the details. Welcome back to Unews. Thousands of people showed up in Cody, Wyoming this weekend to see Kanye West along with his 80-person choral group. They were there for what the rapper is calling a Sunday service. Purity Morongi has more. And finally, take a look at these adorable babies. Thank you so much for being with us today. Hasta mañana, and thank you for watching.